We're still kind of on that improvised route, but we're getting closer to more purpose-built and pre-rigged stuff. If our patient already has a harness on, makes our job of internal and external lashing a lot easier. What we're going to do is, hopefully I can use one piece of webbing. If not, I'll need two. I can use any kind of material, cords or whatever. What we're going to do is make an X pattern or opposing V from upper stanchion through the harness to upper stanchion, and then lower stanchion to the harness and lower stanchion, so opposing V's. So it doesn't matter where I start, and it doesn't matter what I use. I can use a clove or a constrictor or anything I want. I just want to choose a stanchion that makes sense. And just for ease, I guess I'll use this middle one here. That's kind of, you can't quite see it. And so here, I'm just going to do a constrictor just because, why not? When I do my constrictors, I wrap over the top. For me, this is always the way I do it, so I know I'm doing it right. I wrap once over the top, and when I come back around, I go underneath, so I go bottom, but then like I'm tying a shoelace, I come back, and then I want to feed it through that X that I made on the back side that the camera can't see right now, and only I can see, but when I cinch this up, it's, with webbing, it's kind of ugly. It's an ugly constrictor hitch, so that's my starting point. Let's make my V. I'm sorry. So this portion of the V is going to prevent her from sliding out the foot of the litter. We're going to come back up to this point here. And I can tie off with whatever I want. I did a constrictor over here, over there. Maybe I'll just do a clove over here. Who knows? Just to showcase that it doesn't really matter what you do. Just do something that's going to hold. So here, it doesn't, and I don't have to cinch this up super tight. Just want it to be snug. Gravity will do the rest. And that's just a clove. Since I have a lot of webbing material, I might be able to just piggyback off this and just see if I can start the next inverted V portion below. So this keeps it from falling out the foot. I'm going to rig something that's going to keep it from falling out the head. I could do a separate piece of webbing, but since I have all this, this is just a jumper now, so I'm just going to feed this like through the first V, or even her harness. Doesn't really matter, somewhere in here, right? So let's do this. This is going to go low on the opposite side, and I'm going to tie off. And let's see what works here. This one works pretty well, so I'll tie up to that. So I'll just stick with the clove. Okay, so this is just kind of like a jumper. All right. So now my opposite V through the harness. Can you see it? And I can intertwine this with the upper V if I want, or not. It doesn't really matter. I will, just for redundancy, because we like redundancy in the tire surface. We're super huge fans of it. And then we finish on the same point here where I started, which is right there. So you get the point. I'm going to finish with whatever I want. I can do a round turn and 2 half hitches. Let's do that to maintain tension, because I feel like it. So that's just a directional right there. One more wrap through. That makes it a round turn. So it's a round turn. And then I just block off with 2 half hitches. So 1. And 2. A little messy, hard to see, but you get the concept. All the excess goes in. Opposing these with one single piece of webbing. My earlier video, we did the lashing for the feet. That still applies here. I'm not going to show that. I forgot to show the external lashing. So internal lashing, head and feet. External lashing, tipping out the sides or falling out the litter. So let's do the improvised external lashing real quick. I need another piece of webbing. I'm going to start with the midpoint bite. And this is nothing fancy or special. It doesn't have to be like super pretty or like really awesome at all. I just make a girth hitch or a large foot basically right at the base, and voila, we have 2 strands of webbing we can use on each side to crisscross. So there it is. Let's lay one out over here and the other out over here. And we're just gonna alternate crisscrossing through the stanchions. Depending on where the feet are, who knows? Here seems about right. And when I do this, if I can avoid the stanchions that are, if you can see, the stanchions that are like the outermost ones along the rail, that kind of leads to rubbing. If I can use like these inset ones, that might help prevent the webbing from being rubbed. So let's do that. And we're just crisscrossing. All the way over, up to another one, which here, my options are kind of limited, so I have no choice. I'm gonna have to go in through here. And over. And all the way up. And when I get to somewhere around here, I can start to think about maybe terminating or tying off. Let's go, because I don't want this to come up into her face. So, and I don't want, if she sinks down, I don't want this to catch her neck, right? So maybe I can terminate here, or I can just bring this across and terminate on this side. Either way works, it doesn't really matter. None of this has to be like super pretty. It has to be functional and efficient. And whether your arms are in or out, right? You want your hands like that? Okay, all right.
That's better.
So same thing as before, I can just round turn in 2 half hitches. So there's my round turn. And then 2 half hitches. That's 1 and 2. So that's one side. And let's do the other side of it. So I want to mirror the same way I did here. So I went on this stanchion here. And all that out. Cross over. Come up to stanchion that is opposing, which is this one. Back through to the opposing stanchion there. And again, just like before, I can terminate here or I can cross over. Either way. Just to show, well, there's too much going on this stanchion, so I'm going to cross over. Round turn, 2 half hitches. I'm going to do it on this one. Okay, so directional, boom, round turn. And we finish with our half hitch. It's 1 half hitch. Sorry. I'm really sorry about that. And 2 half hitches. Okay. Do no harm. Okay. So yeah, another way to do the internal lashing with the opposing B and improvised external lashing. Yeah, the next video we'll go into the Cadillac version where we have everything pre-rigged and it'll be super slick and super fast.